Hello there, YouTube. My name is Jacob, and here at the PNCLCG is where you want to be. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a discussion about live racing in CSR2. Yes, we have finally reached one of the biggest, most important topics for all players of CSR2, live racing. Now, because live racing is such an in-depth and complicated concept, this video will actually be done in multiple stages, in multiple parts, so that those of you watching at home don't have to sit through multiple hour-long videos of me discussing what live racing is, how it works, the things I've discovered over the years of playing CSR2 about how live racing is done. If you enjoyed today's video, if you get something out of this video, if it teaches you something, if you learn something, if you enjoy it, please consider subscribing to the BNCLCG. Please consider leaving a like. Please consider hitting that notification icon bell, switching it to all so you never miss out on a video. And if there's anything you want to see in the future or any comments or questions or concerns that you have, please leave it down in the comment section below. But as always, please keep it respectful. Without further ado, let's get straight to it because we got a lot to cover. Okay, first things first, here is my lovely, beautiful, gorgeous Ferrari Roma. This car has been elited, and it is 5 stars. Now, typically speaking, if you're going to use a live racing car, you want it to be a tier 5 with low performance points, or PP, over 1,000 Evo, 5 gold stars or 5 purple stars, and a car that you have been able to elite in live. Now, if you've not gotten to the point where you can elite in live yet, don't worry about it. If you have already elited a car and you say, I can't do any more eliting, no worries. There are plenty of cars out there that people use that are not elited in live racing. You see them all the time. So, without further ado, I'm going to begin explaining all of that. So, why is it that I say tier 5s? Why not any of the other tiers? Simply put, when you go on the map, you click on live race. 12.5 is the cash that you get from live racing with a tier 5. If you go to tier 4 and you switch in, boom, 12.5 becomes 7,750. Simply not as much cash. And another little secret about CSR2, tier 5 cars make more RP than tier 4s. This is a simple fact. When you take a tier 5 purple star car that has at least one stage 6 part and over 1,000 Evo, the number that you want to be targeting is 1383 respect points in a live race. If you go and then take a tier 4 purple star car, max parts on it, 1,000 plus Evo, at least one stage 6, you're going to get 1330 respect points. So for the sake of your crew, tier 5 cars are always going to have more RP, they earn more cash, and then on top of that, because tier 5 cars require less performance points to make the same amount of performance, if you get that pun there. So 12.977 here on a 630 performance points. Over here to this Dodge here, 14.580 on 638 performance points. So significantly more. And the other thing is that while this car has all stage 5 parts and 24 fusions, remember that, all stage 5, 24 fusions. When I go over here to my Ferrari Roma, okay, oh, I clicked the wrong button, my mistake. It has 20 fusions, so instead of the 28, it's 20. You have only a stage 3 tires, stage 1 body, stage 2 nitrous, stage 5 transmission, and the rest are stock, okay? Every single one of these parts here costs all kinds of money on a Tier 5 car. To be able to have a Tier 5 low performance point, over 1,000 Evo, 5 gold or 5 purple star car, not only is it cheaper than using a Tier 4 of the same metric, it's just better. You're going to use less fusion parts, you're going to have more Evo, you're going to get more cash, you're going to make more RP, you're just going to be better in every single metric. Now, and it's not to say the Tier 4 cars are bad or are trash. There are plenty of great Tier 4 cars out there. I simply, for these reasons, I exclusively race with Tier 5 unless I have a specific daily goal that says you must race Tier 4. Now, as I've spoken on this Ferrari in the past, because it has been in one of my previous videos, please go check that video out. I had a blast making that video, and this week there will be another video similar to it where it will be the first live stream on the channel. So if you're excited for that, please make sure that you leave a like, leave a comment, keep it respectful, maybe even subscribe if you're excited. I will be doing live streams where you can come find me in CSR2, and if you find me, I will bet you 200K, and I will let you take it. I will let you win. I have no need for the cash. I'm able to make cash without any issues at all. So, 12.977 dyno. Every car that I'm going to race against is not going to have a 12.977 runtime. They're just not. I'm going to showcase that as fast as I physically, feasibly can right here. Okay. Team Ferrari. I like it. I love Ferraris. For those that haven't watched my videos in the past, oh no, he doesn't want to race me. Oh, that's sad. That's very sad. Nobody wants to race me. Okay. Come on. Oh, no. Another guy doesn't want to race me. What is he doing? Just not racing anybody? Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Race me. Beautiful. Again, remember that number. 12.977 is what my dyno says. Bam. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shifts. Boom. Boom. And we barely snuck out the win. And I'm doing that on purpose there. I'm doing that on purpose there. So we have a 12.977 dyno. He ran a 13.4. We ran a 13.382. Because of the fact that we managed to get... Now, we were racing against a Tier 4 car. And this is one of the things that is frustrating about being in Tier 5 occasionally. When you race a Tier 4, instead of getting that beautiful 13,000, you get 9,000, and it stinks. So just be mindful of that when you race Tier 4s in a Tier 5 car. You're sometimes going to have less cash. 1371 respect points. This is almost the exact same amount of respect points as a... or actually, no, this is more. This is more than a non-elited 5 purple star Tier 4 car. So this is exactly why having a 5 gold star Tier 5 low performance point over 1,000 Evo car is so good. You get way more cash, you get way more RP, and you just have a better time. Now, again, my dyno says 12.977. None of these cars are running 12.977. We're going to try this guy. Now, this car it used to have a weird glitch where you could absolutely obliterate dyno, and people were getting banned for it, and it was really sad to see. Hopefully that still isn't a thing. Doesn't look like it is. He's gone. Anytime that you have the opportunity to slow down like that, always, always, always take it. Never, ever, ever do you want to try to beat your dyno on purpose. He ran a 14.3. I ran a 14.2. I think he messed up his shift pattern or something. Bentleys can sometimes be difficult to drive. Um, you always want to run as slow as you can in live racing because you want to make the computer believe that you are slower than what your dyno says. And as you can see from all these people that I'm racing here, the computer believes that my dyno is somewhere around a 13.4, even though it's actually a 12.977. That is the power of what's known as dropping a car in live racing. We're going to do one more race here. And on this race, because this is going to be the last race that I'm going to do in this lobby. Oh, nope. No, it isn't, because he didn't race me. This is sad. Looks like we're going to be sitting here while I discuss things. All right, come on, race me. You always want to end every live racing campaign that you do by absolutely tanking. And the reason for that is the last thing you want the computer to remember is not you beating Dyno, not you running close to Dyno, not you beating somebody. The thing you want that computer to remember is you absolutely tanking, torching your car's performance, losing horribly, so that the computer thinks that you are slower than you are. I am going to race this guy. I am going to let him take that cash. You can have right at it. I don't need it. Here we go. And again, I'm going to do all perfect shifts because I want to get as much cash as I can out of this. And then, boom, gone. This is what I do every single time that I go to end a live racing campaign. The last race that I do, I absolutely torch in live racing. Purposefully torch. Now that guy ran a 13.583. Remember, my dyno is a 12.977. Okay, so now we're going to leave live racing. The next component that I want to mention about anything about live racing is if you have a car that's like this Ferrari Roma here, which if you can get your hands on it, it is $20 of actual cash, which I don't recommend spending it unless you are like me, you're crazy, you gotta have the Ferrari, and it is a absolutely fantastic car for live racing, for newer players, for everything else in between. It is really, really top-notch. Ferrari Fusions are very easily accessible, and this is the kind of stuff that you want to think about when you are building a car for live racing, a car to be elited. I have done a video about what it is to elite a car. Please go check that video out, especially if you're a newer player. There are specific do's and don'ts in CSR2, the main one being don't elite your Supra. Do not elite your Supra. If you've already elited your Supra, check out my 3.8.0 update video because I have good news for you. There's a solution. It's incoming. One of the more recent PC Cups. I won't say anything else beyond that. Go check that out if that's something you need to see. But anyway, you want to have a car like this, and if you find one that's got low performance, over 1,000 Evo, 5 golden stars, tier 5 car, and this car will beat Dyno. I will never showcase it beating Dyno because I do not want the computer to ever believe I can beat Dyno. I want the computer to only think that I can never run close to my Dyno. Is that you never, ever, ever come in here with a car that you're hoping to use for live racing and hit this confirm button, do this test run until you have gone into live racing and dropped your car. And I'm going to explain what it is to drop your car, but basically, and the tips and tricks of how I do it as efficiently and effectively as possible. But basically put, you are going to, when you have a car that you've just started out with, you've never used it before, the computer, typically speaking, tends to start out by having you with a car that cannot beat dyno. It expects that you cannot beat your dyno time. It expects that if my dyno says 12.977, when I go into live racing, I can't run a 12.977. So if I have a brand new car, I've never used the car before, I want to take this car, I want to go into live racing. And the trick that I want to use is I want to come in here and I want to race somebody. And I'm going to start out the race. If he'll race me, I will demonstrate this. I will start out this race by running as hard as I can, doing whatever is the most optimal shift pattern that I can think of off the top of my head, because again, you should not test your car before going into live racing first. I'm going to race. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Now that I've gotten all the way up to there, and I was going to beat dyno, I go all the way down to first gear, because the first thing I want is I want the opponent to run as hard as they can so that I know approximately what the dyno should be of all the cars in this lobby. Now this guy, his dyno is a 13.769. Oh, I ain't doing those. Oh. Alright. Now that is most likely what this lobby actually is. Now I'm going to do, since I have the opportunity to, whenever you see the opportunity to do this, when you're about to jump out of a lobby, which is exactly what I'm about to do, if there are a whole bunch of computers, a whole bunch of bots, and you'll know them by the fact that they'll always have some weird, funky picture, they'll never have anything in their background, they'll never be connected to a crew, and they will absolutely tank at live. Look at that. He is just absolutely gone. He's not even on the same plane. You want to lose. You want to make sure you use your nitrous, but you want to lose hard to that computer. Now again, that previous guy ran a 13.7. This computer ran a 14.380. That is way lower than what everybody else is running, and that is how you know that this was a computer. And also, as you race CSR2 more and more, they all have the same names. Every computer you see, and they also use the same cars. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this car in live racing. I can't tell you how many times I've seen these McLarens in live racing. They continue to repeat again and again and again the exact same cars. The computers use them over and over and over. Now, if I go back into live, which is what I'm going to do, what I wanted to see is I want to see if he'll put me in a different lobby and if that lobby will have a computer. What I'm going to do is I am going to then race the exact same way. Start out, race as hard as I can on getting as many perfect shifts, super start, all that sort of stuff to get as much cash as I can out of this race. Hit the nitrous, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, torch the run. Completely downshift into first gear as quickly as I can. And now, take a look. Computer ran 14.355. That is the approximate same as what the previous computer ran. So I know that I am in, relatively speaking, the same speed of a lobby. Now, I'm going to jump out again. And this time, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to jump back in. We're going to see if we can find a computer again, or if we can find the same lobby. If we find the same lobby, then it doesn't matter. But if we find a different lobby, which we did, boom, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to race another computer. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the exact same process all over again. And this is the process that you do every time you start out with a brand new car. You find those computers, you find those bots, so to speak, You get as much cash as you can out of it, and then once you've gotten your shifting done, boom, torch the run. So that the computer that you're racing against, it takes a higher priority if you lose terribly to computers. Now this guy ran a 15.217. If you'll remember correctly, the previous cars that I ran against in the previous lobby, the previous computers, were running 14.3s. So we know straight away we've succeeded at what we wanted to do. And what we wanted to do was we wanted to make this car slower than what it ought to be. Now we're going to race another computer just to be certain that we've been successful with this. All right, and once again, I'm going to lose again. Super start, all perfect shifts. And obviously, if you have a car that this isn't feasible for, so be it. Just do what you got to do. And then tank the run, bam. And make sure I use my nitrous. Okay, fine. What did that computer run? 14.253. So there, that computer ran a lot better than that other computer did. And that is what I wanted to check, to make sure that that computer wasn't a fluke, because sometimes the computers will run very poorly as opposed to even one another. Now we're going to jump out of here again. And basically, you were going to continue to keep doing this process again and again and again and again until you get into a lobby where you go and you race a computer. And we're going to just do this again for the sake of this video to showcase how I do this. You're going to do it again until the runtime of the computer gets slower. When you finally find a different lobby than what you've been in previously, where the computer that you're racing against is slower, because the computers are based upon what the lobby is. They run a specific amount slower than what the lobby is supposed to be. Check it out, 14.649. We may have gotten the job done right here. Now, we've got multiple computers. I'm going to race another one. Here we go. We're going to see, did we do it right? If we get another 14.6, we know that we have done what our job was to do with this car, which was to, quote-unquote, drop the car. And again, the computers, CSR2 live racing matchmaking takes much more precedence out of doing this against fellow computers, against bots. So this is why I'm saying to specifically do this. And voila, we've done it. That is two 14.6s in a row. Now, I'm going to jump out of here again. I'm going to do it again. And what I want to do is I want to see, can I get in to the same lobby again? If I can do so, then it's fine. If I get into an even worse lobby, we're in a whole other predicament. We are in the same lobby. These are the same guys that I was previously just racing, and just to confirm it, just to prove it, I'm going to take my Ferrari here, I'm going to race this computer here, and I'm purposefully going to drive bad, but this time, for the sake of this video, I am going to just barely beat the computer. 14.689. So third time that we have raced the computer that it's a 14.6. That confirms, since the previous computers were running 14.2s, 14.3s, we have done what is known as dropping a car in live. Now, as you see here, the RP that you get from beating a computer, 685. It is significantly less than the 1371 that you get from racing against other people in live. So I don't recommend just going in and nonstop racing computers unless you are brand new to CSR2, and the only way that you can confirm that you're not going to have people betting you and taking all your money, you can confirm that you're not going to lose the race, is by going in and racing all of these computers. Now, we're going to race this guy here, and the reason why we're doing that now is because I want to show what this guy runs. Because, again, previously, we had 13.3s. This guy just ran a 13.5. Now, this Honda S2000 100% beats its dyno. And we just barely beat him on purpose because what we wanted to do is we wanted to push him, okay? Or her, whoever it is, whatever they identify as, just to be totally transparent and to be totally inclusive. Whatever he or she or whatever they identify as, whatever it is, okay? We wanted to know what they run. What can they run? What is their max run? We wanted them to believe they were going to win until the very end and then get the win so that we know approximately, okay, this is what this lobby runs. And again, we've been previously running in 13.3s. This is the first time that we've seen somebody run a 13.5. Now this car right here, you see the 3 right there, that says this guy's been racing a very long time. That is to signify Tempest 3. Now, this is where we get fun. As you know, my car runs a 12.977 approximately. This guy doesn't know that. He thinks he's just racing against an average Ferrari Roma, which is why he bet $50,000. And check that out, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whatever you identify as, the king of live racing, completely obliterated without beating dyno. That is what the power of dropping a car in live is all about, and being able to use a low performance point over 1,000 Evo car. Now, on that last race, we ran really hard. So, absolutely mandatory in this race to run extremely poor, because otherwise the computer is 100% going to believe that we ought to be in a different lobby, and if I can get it, I'm going to actually race him again. And the reason why I'm going to race him again is because, oh, he's betting me again. I do not want the computer to think that I can run that 13.1. I want that computer to keep me in the 13.5, but I wanted to just show that this car, which is one of the most dangerous cars in all of CSR2 in terms of having to be able to try to beat this car, I can beat it in my car. And I'm going to let him take the win because, again, I do not want CSR2 to think that, or the computer to think that I can run hard. I want the computer to think 13.8 is my dyno. So I let him take his cash back, which is perfectly fine. The whole point of that, again, was to showcase that because of dropping the car, a car that typically speaking would be almost darn near impossible to beat in live racing, we took him on after he betted us $50,000, and we won, people. We won, and we won big. We didn't just, we absolutely smoked him. Now we're going to lose to this bot here again, because every time that you go out of live racing, you should always make sure if you can find a bot, lose hard to them so that the computer remembers this run. 19.874 against a 14.712 computer. You want this to be the thing that is fresh in the CSR2 computer's mind. You do not want that 13.1 against that NSX-R to be what the computer remembers. And for the sake of making sure that this car stays here, I'm actually going to do it again. But this time, I'm going to do way worse. I'm going to do so horribly bad in this race. Okay? I'm going to just keep downshifting and reshifting in first gear for eternity, and just getting all kinds of cash from the shifts. And now that the computer has finished the race, now, finally, we're going to accelerate, and then we're going to stop again, right at the finish line. So that the computer is not going to remember that 13.1. They're going to remember that 25.775. Absolutely abysmal run. And now we're going to exit. Now what we're also going to check here really quickly to finish this video out, because again, this is what you want to do every time that you get a brand new live racing car. You don't tune it, or you don't test it with the test run. You refuse to race until you've gone in here and you've said, okay, let's race against the computer, and let's absolutely torch, and let's continue to torch against computers until the computers start to get slower. Now, I don't know if you've recognized, but some of these cars that are in this lobby we have seen before, so part of the reason why I want to do this also is I want to just confirm that I didn't just destroy my car, because that will be very sad if I did. But if it's for the sake of this video, then so be it. I hope that you are enjoying this video. I'm sure that it's going to end up being quite a lengthy, long video. Alright, check it out. 14.4. So yes, unfortunately, we have bumped the car from that one race. And that is exactly what I wanted to show. Is that all it takes is one race, and I didn't even beat my dyno. All it takes is one race of running way hard in a car, and just like that, just from one run, CSR2 has put me back in the lobby that I was previously in. So I'm going to have to do all of that work all over again to be able to get back into that lobby with that NSX-R again, where I can beat an NSX-R without any trouble whatsoever, which is why I'm doing this here to end off this video, is because now that I have bumped my car, and that's another thing that's important about live racing. If you run your car really, really strong, you will bump your car. It is the reverse of dropping your car. It is terrible. It means that you will not be able to be competitive in live racing anymore. It is never fun to find out that your car has been bumped in live, which is why, again, as I say, if you're going to race in CSR2 and you're racing your elated, your special live racer, never, ever, ever, ever bet with this car. Go in, win races as barely as you can. Do not try to just overrun everybody. Just try to barely beat people, and make sure that this car stays in the lobby that it's supposed to stay in. Now we've got another NSX-R here. We are not going to bet anything at all against this guy if he races us. Which he didn't, because it's not going to be like that last NSX-R. It is not going to be easy to win at all. Alright, I'm going to let this guy take this $5,000. That's not a big deal. But if it was another $50,000 bet, I was going to be immediately refusing the live race. But yeah, here we go. And I'm just going to very quickly do this where I run as good as I can for as long as I can. Stay there, stay there, stay there. Make him think that he's losing. Then all of a sudden, downshift. Let him have the win. And I'm doing that because I want to see what is he running. 13.386. So yes, once again, we have unfortunately bumped our car up to the next lobby. Now the good news is that because, as I've shown, it's very easy to get that car back down there. It just requires us to be in a place where we can race a bunch of computers and do very poorly against them, because this game considers losing to the computer more important than losing to this guy right here, but it still does consider what I do against this guy here important towards bumping a car especially. Now this race, we are going to just absolutely torch, because we want to make sure that we end this live racing session here where our car just drove very, very poorly. And there we go. That's it. We end that live racing campaign. Again, 13.469, and the other Supras we were racing that when we dropped the car was a 13.7. So this is the number one thing that you want to avoid in live racing. You do not want your car to get bumped. Once your car gets bumped, it puts you into a higher lobby tier, as I showcased how the lobby tiers work, where you will not be able to win anymore. Now, we've just lost a whole bunch of races, again, to try to undo the fact that we bumped the car. What I want to see is if I can get a race in here, can we get back to those computers that are running 14 sixes? Can we go back to the cars in the lobby running 13 fives? That is what I want to see. So I'm going to purposely, again, race this car as hard as I can for as long as I can, and then at the very end of the race, I am going to go all the way down to first gear, so here we go, we're going to let him think he can win, let him think he can win, let him believe it. All right, you got it. So that we can see what the lobby is actually running. And once again, 13.466. This is not what we want to see. We want to go back to that 13.5, 13.6. Now, the fact that it's not 13.3 could potentially mean that we have done what's called a mini drop, where instead of dropping an entire lobby, you drop half the lobby. So the people that you're racing against become about a tenth slower than they were. Which, if this is the case, this will be a good thing to showcase in this video here. Since we're doing a beginning opening to live racing, a very beginning discussion of dropping your car, bumping your car, everything like that. So let's see, what did that computer run there? If they ran a 13.6, I'm going to be very happy. No, they did not. They ran a 14.0. We do not want to see anywhere near that from our computer. That tells us that the computer thinks we are way fast now. Now here's this NSXR again. And as I'm going to show you here, we have no chance of winning against this car. I'm going to drive this car as best as I can, and I'm still not going to be able to beat this car. Yeah, he would have 100% passed us. 100% that guy would have passed us. So, take a look at what he is running. Okay, 13.229. Yeah, that is way high. We do not want to be racing against a 13.2 car. We're going to do one more race where we race this guy here. And hopefully, I'm going to do the really bad run here, where I'm going to come in, nitrous immediately so I can burn it off, so that I'm not using it effectively. And then I'm going to go all the way down to first gear. Stay in first gear until I get to the finish line. I'm just gonna have a nice little time here, just sitting, watching, and looking at my Ferrari, looking at all the smoke kicking up from all the wheel spin. And there we go. Now, that was a 14.6. This is more of what we want to see. This is more of what we want to see. That is really, really good to see. Now, this is a all computer, looks like for the most part, lobby. We're going to jump out, and really quickly, just to end it, just to prove that it can be done, you can drop, bump, and drop a car all within the same 40 minutes, approximately, roughly. I'm going to jump back in again, and we're going to see if we can't find a computer. Oh, we're in the same lobby. We are still in the same lobby. So, we weren't able to do it, but that is a general, overall, brief discussion of why I say Tier 5, low performance points, over 1,000 Evo, 5 gold stars. If you can elite the car, great. You want to be able to have a car that you bumped it, or you dropped it in live, you didn't bump it, and every time that you race, you always drive below your dyno, and every time you exit the lobby, you always see if you can't find a computer, race against that computer, and make sure to drive as absolutely poorly as you possibly can, so that the computer believes that your car is slower, so that you can effectively drop your car in live. And every race that you do, again, as I said, you want to make sure that you are running as close to your opponent as you can. You don't try to overrun your dyno. You don't try to crush them. And if it's a car that you really like, you really care about, that really matters to you, it's your RP earner, you never bet with it. As I showed you with that NSXR, because I bet that race, that 50,000, and I did that one race where I had to actually run my car hard, it bumped me up a lobby. It bumped me up at least 0.2 to 0.3 seconds higher than what I want my car to be. I want my car to be back in that 13.5, 13.6, and now I'm in a 13.3, 13.2, just from one race. So very important if you're a newer player, do not run your car the way you can for a max run. You always, always, always drive as poorly as you can and still win, and you always end your live racing campaign on losing to a bot. And every time that you beat Dino by a lot, you always try to make sure that you run at least 2 runs. Sometimes more is actually needed. Like that NSXR, obviously I needed to run even more runs poorly to make sure that the computer believed that my car is slower than it actually should be. Because now, while my dyno says 12.9, I'm in a 12.3 lobby, and the computer has bumped me up where I was previously in a 12.5 to a 12.3. That is going to do it for this part of the video. Since I'm going to be doing live racing in multiple stages, since it's such a complicated thing and I don't want to be making endless hour-long videos for you to watch. So please consider subscribing to this channel if this video was exciting, if this video was fun, if you enjoyed it, if you learned something from it. Please consider leaving a like on the video. That really helps me out. That really helps the channel out. That helps get this video out there, and hopefully there's some information in here that was new to you enough that you would want to like it. Switch that notifications bell icon to all so you never miss a video. If there's anything you want to see in the future, put it down in the comment section below. I stream videos daily of CSR2, and every now and then I have Pokemon videos. So anything that you want to see, put it down in the comment section below. But as always, please be respectful. That's going to do it for today. As always, my name is Jacob, and here at the PNCLCG is where you want to be. Thank you very much for watching. Have a blessed day.